Welcome to another episode of Go Ape Podcast. I'm Jon Randall. With me as always,
Brandon Gehringer.
What's up?
What's going on?
Not much, man. How was your week?
It was okay.
Anything notable this week?
No.
All right.
Oh, it's free RPG day today.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I went and got a Dungeon Crawl Classic screen and some other role-playing books.
I didn't know it was free RPG day. I know you told me that there was some stuff on sale today at
Stuff,
the local shop that you went to.
Stuff on sale as well.
I would have went with you for that just to grab you something for, like me pick up something for you.
No, it's all good.
If you'd have told me that, I would have went with you for that.
There wasn't really much this year. It's not as good as it's been in the past.
Well, it's a dying medium.
Okay. What's going on with you?
Not much, man. I got some good news today.
I'll be the judge.
Carolina Panthers,
not good.
When they have spring training camp on August 19th and 20th, will be having joint practices with the Miami Dolphins.
I've heard of them.
In Spartanburg. So I will be going those 2 days to see my Dolphins practice against the Panthers.
Well, that's good.
So it gives me another opportunity to see Miami Dolphins.
Well, good. That is good for you.
And that's a couple days before they have their preseason game. They'll have their preseason game that Saturday in Charlotte. So I was already planning on going to that game.
You're a big Dolphins fan.
I am. So that's good. That's good for me.
Too bad my Jaguars weren't coming up here. That would have been good.
Is that your team this year?
Yep. Jacksonville Jaguars. Born in the womb, fan of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Well, I hope that works out for you.
Yep. We'll see how it goes. Should be exciting.
Yeah.
It's going to be an exciting season of American football.
Okay. What else we got going on?
Go Jags.
All right. I'm going to go see Jaws tomorrow.
Oh, it's tomorrow?
Yep, tomorrow.
Okay.
Sure you don't want to
go? No. Thank you. It's Father's Day. I've got lots of stuff.
Oh, that's right. Your father.
That's correct.
What else is there?
You went to the movies this week.
I did. I went and saw Jurassic World on Tuesday.
And tell people a little bit about it.
I enjoyed the film. I enjoyed the film overall. I noticed a lot of the audience ratings overall of the movie was about 83, and I would say that's about right because I would say 1/5 of the things in the film I was rolling my eyes at. There's a kid in the movie that I instantly hated.
Yeah, mistake number one.
I wanted the kid dead. Like it was to the point. Like it's a typical kid that you would think that's big in the dinosaurs, right?
Yeah.
You get to this fucking theme park, and what do? They have to run in every direction, looking at everything.
How do they run in every direction?
It's like a fucking pinball. He runs to over here. He's over here. He's over here. Of course, his brother is like, fucking slow down, I'm trying to keep up with you. But it's one of those kids, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if I'd have taken my nephew to Jurassic World and he took off running like that, I'd been like, well, you're on your own.
Yeah, good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Because we all know how this is going to turn out.
Yeah, you need it.
But, I mean, yeah, I instantly wanted that kid dead.
That's not a good thing.
My friend I was with said that kid was endearing. He said that's what you feel. That's what you're supposed to feel for that kid. And I went,
I've never used that word before.
Well, I'm a monster. So
yeah, exactly. I've never used that word before.
I mean, yeah. I like the movie overall. I mean, like I said, there are moments in the movie where I kind of rolled my eyes.
Sure.
But I thought it was well paced. My friend that I went with, he was kind of bored at the start of the movie, and once it gets to a certain section of the film, it's pretty much action there on out, and he enjoyed it from there on out. I enjoyed the whole thing. I thought it was the best one since the original film.
Good.
And I'll buy it when it comes out. It's one I'll pick up. So.
That's a big thing for you to buy a movie.
Yeah, so you'll see it.
Okay, cool.
Well, like this. I'll buy the digital copy.
Okay.
I'm not going to...
Yeah, buy no discs.
Yeah, I ain't messing with no disc, especially after the debacle we had tonight.
What was the debacle we had tonight?
Well, this disc for the film tricked me.
It's a DVD.
It's a DVD,
it's
first
a digital video disc.
Is that what DVD stood for back in the day?
I believe so.
Well, whatever. This was barely digital video.
Yeah, this is rough. There was a mistake. There was a mistake.
There's a couple problems with this, people. First of all, this week, Brandon picked our film. He texted me earlier in the week.
And I'm going to have to explain this now.
And he said, how about we watch this? And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. Because I got no problem with this.
Of course. Well, I knew that this was a movie that would...
For starters, I owned it.
Yeah. I knew that you owned it. This is Last Action Hero. Okay?
Starring
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yep.
Who we are both fans of.
And introducing Austin O'Brien. You may know him from the Circuit City commercial where last week he bought this and today he saw this.
Some people might already not know what Circuit City is.
I was going to say, unless you were alive in the 80s, you A, don't know what Circuit City is, and B, don't know what commercial we're talking about.
And this kid's played in other things. I don't know what.
If he has, I don't know. I
have seen him.
This was the first thing he ever did, because it does say introducing Austin O'Brien.
That does seem...
So this was his first film.
It does seem like it was his first film.
What?
Yeah, we'll be discussing that. So I thought about Last Action Hero because I know that it's a polarizing film. There is shit in the film. There's stuff to be laughed at and enjoyed in the film by one of us, or maybe both of us at times. Ultimately, at the end of the day, this was a mistake for me. I had a real hard time doing this movie for some reason. There has been a resurgence of people enjoying the film from what I've looked online.
Okay.
And it doesn't take...
Well, I'm proud to say I've always enjoyed the film.
Right.
Like I said, I do own a copy.
But
of the film.
you own a poor version of the film, is what we'd say.
We really didn't realize that until we put it in. Because here's the thing: I bought this movie obviously on DVD. It was probably in a $5 bin somewhere, based on the features. Let me read you the features: interactive menus, already suspect.
Yeah.
We'll get into that in a moment. Feature choices of English to channel. Or 5.1 Dolby Digital. That's impressive. That's it actually has that.
Yeah, it's got that.
Multiple languages and subtitles, chapter selections, and full screen format.
Yeah, that's where we went awry.
Like, obviously, I've watched this so many times in the past on Netflix before they took it off Netflix and not watched my DVD. I did not remember this was in full screen. And we put this in, and Brandon and I debated real hard if I should have just went on Vudu and actually purchased the movie. I did not, as it was a $14 cost for the film. That's too rich for my blood.
Way too much for this film.
Now let's open this up real quick. Chapter selections. 55 chapters.
That's a lot of chapters.
55 chapters of the movie. Now, at one point, I also... when we first started the movie and we realized it was going to be full screen, I tried to go to the menu to see if maybe there was a widescreen setting. Brandon, how would you describe the interactive menus for this DVD?
Lacking. Lacking is the word I would use.
It looks like it was a menu made on some guy's computer, and this is a bootleg copy of the film. Is what it basically looks like. It's what it does
look like.
It's the worst menu I've ever seen on anything.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, even DVDs that, like when DVDs first came out, you take, like, Flash Gordon, which was like one of the first DVDs ever. When you put it in, the movie just starts.
Yeah,
that's what this movie did.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, that's what this movie did.
And it kicked us out whenever.
And then that was the best thing. It gets to the end of the credits where nowadays movies go back to the menu. It literally went back out to the PS4 dashboard. Like it just kicked it out completely when it got to the end. This was an impressive DVD.
Yeah, it's bad. I told you just throw it away. You're not going to watch that version of it ever again.
But I'm not going to throw it away until I get a better version.
Some of the scenes look like super VHS balls.
Yeah, it was a really bad transfer. All the dark scenes look super grainy. It
was not a good viewing experience when it comes to the visuals.
Dude, there's 2 pictures on the back of this. That's it. This is just awful. Let me just do a little background here. This is directed by John McTiernan, who did Die Hard and Predator. So he's a good director. He's directed some good action films. So that leads you in the, I guess, in the direction of thinking this is going to be an action movie based on the director. And it's written by, the screenplay, was done by Shane Black of Iron Man 3 fame.
But you're a big fan of that.
I am not a fan of Iron Man 3. But Shane Black has done many good things, including Predator, like we said, Monster Squad. He's worked on things that we did like.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, okay.
So there's those.
So this movie came out in 1993.
I mean, it didn't come out against any kind of competition when it came out in the theater.
Well, I would have to say that there was some competition.
Okay.
It was a little movie by the name of Jurassic Park that showed up a week before.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
And they really should have listened to Arnold, in which he wanted to push the movie back 4 weeks. But you see, the thing is, and I don't know if you remember this. I mean, you haven't really said much about it when I brought this up. But I remember the huge marketing campaign this movie had.
I honestly don't remember that much.
It was massive. They really pushed the marketing on this movie.
I was majoring in the Jurassic Park in 1993.
I understand. So I guess there was like Jurassic Park people, Last Action Hero. I was more Jurassic Park, but I was always like, geez, they're really pumping this up.
You weren't the last action hero camp?
Yeah, no, I was not part of that. This was the second movie, the movie after his big Terminator 2 movie. So, I
don't know if it was him in Terminator 2 or not. We'll cover that in the movie also.
What?
Was it him in Terminator 2?
We'll see. The thing about it is that they promoted it so big, and that's one of the reasons why I chose this movie. Kind of the way that some of those other ones were as well. Some of the visions of what it was going to be, and before the movie came out, you'd think that it was just going to be the biggest fucking movie ever. It was not. While watching this movie right now, I've probably seen this 3 times. Okay, this is my 3rd time seeing it.
Okay, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this. This is probably I would say between 10 and 15 times that I've seen this.
Wow. Okay.
I've seen this movie a lot.
Okay.
Now, maybe not always in its entirety. I may have caught it on TV, but it's one of those movies that if I caught it on TV, I would stop and just watch it the rest of the way through.
Okay. I would keep going on this one. I really would. It's a really weird movie for me to talk about because this has been probably the most difficult note-taking I've had to do. And I don't know why it is. There's so much going on in the movie, and it does, we'll talk about it. We'll just go into the beginning of it. I know its budget was like $70 million. Okay. I think it'd be a lot more, but I guess not. I think it took in about 107. It was a critical flop. I mean, it was a lot of the critics really slammed it. It took in 137 million. So only made it was 70. Well, here it says budget 85 million. I guess they spent the other probably on the marketing. I guess I don't know, but made 137. And I guess overall the problem that I have with it is it just doesn't know what it wants to be, and I don't know how to react to this fucking movie.
I mean, I see what you're saying, and I understand that criticism, and obviously you read some articles that said the same thing. I feel like the movie is supposed to be a comedy.
Yeah, and it definitely was not billed that way. I think that was it's the most wrong thing that happened, and it's that huge marketing push, and that's probably where it backfired on them.
Well, like I said, just based on the director alone, you would think by the director and the movies that director's done, this is going to be an action movie.
Yeah.
And it's got Arnold in it.
Yeah.
I'm sure, it had tons of explosions in this movie, so I'm sure that shit was littered throughout the trailer. Right. I wouldn't know because my DVD does not have a trailer on it that we could have watched.
No.
But I'm sure like everybody thought this was going to be an action movie, but I guess ever since the first time I saw it, I've just always looked at it as a comedy.
Right.
So I can sit back and just really laugh at this movie because it's so laughably it's absurd. The movie's absurd.
I almost feel as if maybe they hid that part because they knew that it would be tough to sell to people, it being such a satire on the action genre. But I wonder about those people that went and saw it in the theater. Because I didn't see it in the theater, of course.
I don't think I did either.
That were sitting there and they thought they were going to see a big budget Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, which, technically it kind of was. But then once it just starts being a huge satire, and I feel that it's a long movie. I feel that there's a long, because it has several changes that happen in it. But I think they felt hoodwinked, throughout the movie. They were like, this is a joke. I didn't think it was going to be like this. This is, I think there's actual scenes that for probably a movie audience that were probably embarrassing for them to see. They were like, what am I supposed to do? You know what I mean? Am I supposed to laugh at this? It's funny, but I'm not in a movie I'm not watching a movie that I expect to be funny or to be satirical. So I always think about those people that saw it. But I guess we'll get into it. It pretty much instantly starts off with some cops. There is a standoff on top of a building.
Yeah, it starts off...
Tons of cops.
Starts off, a bunch of cops, and you see a guy, starts on his eyes, and it zooms out, and he's screaming.
It's Christmas time.
You see some cops scrambling around. They're surrounding a building. There's some shit going on top of the building. And then...
There's a huge gunfire rains down on top of the cops. Which I would have thought they would have just shot back. But... we found out later there's a reason probably why. Maybe there was the people who were being held hostage.
A bit of a hostage situation going on the top of the building. So all of a sudden, you start seeing a pair of cowboy boots walking. And they're not just walking. They're walking across the tops of cop cars.
Yeah. Well, the boots were made for walking.
Across the hood, across the roof, just walking.
There's heroic, cool music.
Pan back. Yep. It's Arnold.
Yeah, he's smoking a cigar.
Yeah.
This is our hero of the film, Jack Slater.
Yep.
Chief tells him that he's not going to go up there, and he's yelling at him. That's the chief's thing, is the big yelling, the incoherent yelling, very loud. That if he goes up there, it's going to be his badge.
Toss badge to Chief.
Yep. Tina Turner shows up, straight from Bartertown. Blah, blah, blah. I couldn't catch any of it.
She said something like, Slater, don't go up there. Here's the lieutenant governor. Listen to him. Punches the lieutenant governor. Call me when the governor gets here.
He doesn't want to talk to just the lieutenant.
Yeah.
How much Arnold voice are you going to be doing throughout this?
As much as I can.
We're going to need to try to do as much as we can through any Arnold movie that we do.
Yeah.
There's a cop that stands in his way. And the thing is, there's tons of one-liners. I didn't write down a lot of one-liners.
That's what we should have done. One of us should have just literally wrote down every single one-liner in the film.
We'll watch it again.
I tried to tell you we should have backed it up. We were only about 15 minutes in when I said we should have started it over and done that.
Well, we both needed to be on notes because I got really derailed on this film. He kicks the cop in the crotch. He goes airborne from this kick to the crotch.
Yep.
He lands probably about 4 or 5 feet away. That right there should have been a telltale sign to anybody in the theater. Whoa, hold on. This is a joke. Really? Like, that's the first moment I feel. Like, him punching the guy, okay, he's got a bunch of attitude, super attitude. But to kick a guy, defy gravity.
Well, not only that, but he does a one-liner right before that.
Yeah, something about the farm or something like that.
Yeah, he asked me I don't remember.
Something about buying the farm. So you find out that there's a crazy melted face guy. I don't know, he's got something wrong with his grill in his head. He's got a bunch of kids held hostage. He has an axe. He's an axe wielding madman. And this includes Jack's own child.
Yep.
So that's why he's so hell-bent to get up there and take care of this problem.
Correct.
He tells Jack to drop his gun.
Jack throws his gun down. He's like, all right, there goes my gun.
The guy doesn't buy it.
He's like, come on, one gun, Slater?
Come on, Slater. So he drops a bunch of guns.
Yeah, he drops like 10
knives, all sorts of stuff. I think we saw this in Mad Max. And then he has a grenade that he tosses. He's like, is this is this a weapon or is this something? And he tosses this grenade. The grenade should have gone off many, many seconds afterwards. But they talk back and forward. And the crazy guy makes the kid pick up the grenade. He thinks it's a toy.
The crazy guy, by the way, is named the Ripper. That's his character name.
Right. It's the Ripper. Okay, the Ripper. And it comes to find out that it's not a toy. It's not a grenade, though. It's a knife, in which the boy then stabs the Ripper.
Yep.
Giving Jack a moment to drop to the ground, snatching up. He actually dodges the axe. The guy's able to throw his axe. And that's a very iconic scene that was shown many times during the promotion of this film. So again, they're not going to show you a scene of some of the characters that are in this film that are coming up that are lunacy.
That are what you just said. They're characters.
Right. Yeah, very much so. Or some of the insane hijinks. Instead, they're going to show you a cool part where he's dodging, almost Matrix style, before the Matrix, this axe that comes by his face. I remember seeing that specifically. So he drops to the ground, is able to grab up his Desert Eagle. That's standard issue for cops.
That's his normal gun.
Yep. And he shoots the guy. And right after he shoots the guy, all of a sudden the screen starts to distort. Oh, this is a movie that you're watching. And there's a boy in a vacant old movie theater.
With a couple bums sleeping in the theater.
Yep. He's watching the film as it's messing up.
So let's get this straight, people. We're watching a movie only to find out that it's a kid watching a movie in the theater.
And I'll be honest with you, I don't think that I knew that was kind of the theme of this movie when I originally saw a lot of the trailers and stuff for it. I truly believe that they probably knew that some of this stuff was going to be difficult for audiences to swallow, and they hid it from us. So I think this is, when you think in the theater, people are probably like, what? Okay, well that might explain some of the zaniness that we saw.
Well, you said it best, hoodwinked.
Very much hoodwinked.
These people were hoodwinked. So you come to find out the kid's watching a movie. He goes upstairs. He tells his buddy, who's I guess the theater owner. It's an old man, and he's like, what's the guy's name? Was it Mick?
Nick.
He's like, Nick. He's like, the climax of the film is going out of focus, And Nick's falling asleep upstairs.
Yeah.
He's asleep at the wheel. So he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Danny." And he focuses the movie just in time for the credits to be rolling. And Danny's like, "It's okay. I've seen Jack Slater 3 like 6 times." So
that's what you're watching.
That's what we were just watching. Jack Slater 3.
We were watching Jack Slater 3. And Jack Slater is played in the movie by Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yep.
Okay. So this kid, I'm going to go ahead and I just want to get this out of the way.
All right.
This is a long time coming for me. This kid is super, super butt. I loathe every word out of his mouth, every line he delivers. I don't like any of his mannerisms, any of his direction, acting, whatever it is. I don't like children in movies overall as a general rule. And he is one of the worst, in my opinion, that I've seen in a movie. And the problem is, he's given such a large role, which I feel is never a good thing to do.
Incredible amount of that role.
Never a good thing to do in a movie. It's just the way it is. Kid actors, good ones, very rare and hard to come by. And the fact that he had such a large part in a movie of this, what they build to be magnitude, and this to be his first role, folly. Pure bullshit folly that they put a kid that had not been in a big major motion picture like this, if that is true, to a movie of this gravitas with fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger. Insulting, and he is a very big detriment to me in watching the film. He delivers so many lines with this almost kind of smiling, half-faced, like, what is that? I can't even describe what this kid does, but his face doesn't make strong, convincing emotions. It's always this kind of bullshit, and he's in his own satirical world, it seems like, all by himself. Or I'm like, nobody reacts to things like that with that type of face.
And later on in the movie, he's fake crying, and it's so bad you can't tell if that's him acting.
Yes,
like he's crying.
I thought he was acting. Like I thought that was his normal character.
You thought that was his character actually conveying terror and crying, when in fact he was acting like he was crying and to fool somebody. I'm almost certain
I've seen him as something else, and he was equally doo-doo. And I'm glad we never saw anything from him ever again that I'm aware of. I just want to get that out because he is a huge problem with my enjoyment of this film.
Let me just throw a couple things out on top of my head, okay? Is he worse in this movie, or is Edward Furlong worse in Terminator 2?
He's worse in this movie.
All right, is he worse in this movie, or is Short Round worse in
He's worse in this movie.
Can you think of any kid that's worse? Off the top of your head?
No, I can't think of any kid of worse. I mean, I'm certain I've seen some that are really, really bad.
Right.
But the thing is, it has to do with the magnitude of his role.
Right.
It's huge.
He is literally the co-star of the film.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's.
This is a Arnold Schwarzenegger kid buddy flick.
And let's also say, you said it during the movie. This movie probably has the most lines Arnold's ever had in the film.
Oh, definitely. I've never seen Junior.
Okay.
So I don't know about that one. And there's probably some movies here and there I haven't seen, like some of his more newer ones coming back out of after his politics. But yeah, he talks a shit ton in this film, and I never really noticed that. Did you? I mean, did you ever think about that?
Nah.
He talks a bunch, and I wonder if that's one of those things of breaking out of those roles he's had after Terminator 2 and the success it had. Because Terminator 1, sure, he was a big player, but Terminator 2 really boosted him forward. Anybody really involved in Terminator 2 was really, enhanced by that movie. And this, he was like, great, I've got a huge script, we're going to roll with it. Because I don't believe that Arnold Schwarzenegger was originally thought of as Jack Slater originally when they wrote those first screenplays. Okay?
Probably
because
not.
That's whenever they found out that he was in it, that they were kind of like, I don't know about this. But, I don't like this kid. I mean, I think about, people think about kid actors and good roles. Who have they been? Like, Christian Bale did good in Empire of the Sun. Hell, even in Say Newsies, we've talked about that movie. A lot of those kids are better than this. Haley Joel Osment from Sixth Sense. There's some kids that can really do it, and even their parts I feel are lesser than what this kid had to do.
Yeah,
he just the wide range of emotions and reactions to things. He just was not prepared for. So there, I want to get that out of the way. It's a huge detriment to the film. So he likes Jack Slater movies, and it says that Jack Slater is listed as Arnold Schwarzenegger. So cool. He shows up at school 4 hours late.
Well, real quick, first, before he leaves, Nick tells him, I've got the reel for Jack Slater 4.
Okay.
It's coming out. And he says, if you come back tonight, I'll let you see it ahead of everybody else.
Yeah, he's a movie buff, this kid is.
Yeah. I mean, he loves Jack Slater movies, so Nick tells him, come back tonight. I'll let you see Jack Slater 4 before the public gets to see it.
Right.
And he says, but you need to get your ass to school. You're 4 hours late for school. Yeah. 4 hours late.
Yeah, or get your ass to Mars.
So he gets to school. He shows up. Teacher doesn't notice. She's too busy talking about Hamlet. He just walks right into class and sits down.
Maybe he doesn't exist.
This is like a Fight Club thing? He's not real?
Yeah, it could be.
All right, so he gets to school, and as he's watching Hamlet with Sir Laurence Olivier, he reimagines it.
Yeah.
That
daydreaming.
That Arnold is now Hamlet in the film.
And for me to watch this film and to take notes and to try to do this podcast, I just had to write Insanity Hamlet. I didn't know what to write, man.
Well, it literally, all of a sudden, he's watching it. He starts imagining now Arnold is now Hamlet in the film. And it literally does like a movie trailer like they had in the 90s. It starts off, something is rotten in the state of Denmark. And then all of a sudden, it's Arnold just cutting down people, like talking shit. He's throwing Claudius around. He's cutting people with swords. And then it ups the ante. Uzis. Arnold has machine guns and he's like mowing down people. It's just complete madness.
But I guess that's what he wanted to see with that.
I guess. He's all about Jack Slater.
He blows up the castle.
Yeah. The castle.
To be or not to be. Not to be. I'm going to really try to ham up my Arnold for our listeners. I'll do my impersonation of Will Sasso's impersonation of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
There you go.
So yeah, to be or not to be. Not to be. And then it blows up. Well, he's on the cigar, of course.
Oh, my God.
So I couldn't even write anything on that. I was just like Insanity Hamlet. Now, this is a prime example I want to talk about. And, I mean, we can go on and on, but I think once I get these out, this stuff will make sense. Now, in several articles I've read and what I've felt is that this is a direct assault against reality. And I think that's the pushback that I have with this film, is that it's difficult for the viewer to take away physics, the way that things work, what we know, and it's an instant kind of, something that just real fly in the ointment when you see this shit not work.
I guess for me, this is where I instantly thought it was a comedy because I think back to like the movie Scrooged, right?
Okay.
It starts off with Santa and the elves in his workshop, and then all of a sudden Lee Majors skis in with like a minigun, and they're blasting like dudes assaulting Santa's workshop.
I get that. Like, I just don't get a 2-hour fucking movie of that. You see what I'm saying? Like that's just way
right. But I'm just saying, taking this scene, and like you said, there's already been a couple things, but like by the time this Hamlet like trailer comes out with Arnold playing Hamlet, I'm just like, okay, this movie is completely farcical and it's just a comedy at this point.
I understand this is him daydreaming. And he's taking it to a higher level. But then once what comes up in the future here happens, and that stuff does become a reality, and then some, in my opinion, it's just this. I think this is purely a movie of you have been hoodwinked into this film. You didn't expect it. Not only did you not expect it, but we're going to now assault your sense of reality on what is normal in, like I said, physics and the world. And for a viewer that's not willing to just let that all go and understand what they're saying, I feel like, and I do that myself, I still have this defensive mechanism where I'm like, no, it doesn't happen. This doesn't happen. That's stupid. That's ridiculous. So that's the inner struggle that I have with this film.
Okay.
And believe me, I would love to not have that defensive mechanism come up when I'm watching this film and to be able to enjoy it like that. But I feel that it's a long film. It's a slow film at several points. And I just really feel the weight of it, I guess because I had to endure all this mind-boggling stuff. But okay. So, yeah. So I guess this is one of those things where, he's only got his mom. Don't know where dad is. I don't know if it said it. But it's one of those situations. Mom works late at night. He has to, find... and then maybe Jack Slater's a father figure to him if I want to try to get all deep into the movie.
The psyche of
the psyche of the film. Who knows what it is. Again, I need a barbiturates to help me out with this. So the mom knows about him skipping school because the principal called, and she obviously understands the boy's plight. Maybe again with the family situation is what I kind of gathered from that whole scene. So he's trying to do some homework. He can't do it. He can't focus, I guess, while his mom's at work. So he tries it, and then this is amazing.
He goes to leave the apartment at like 2:00 in the morning,
and he can't even open up his door without being assailed by the terrible, terrible New York City underworld as some crazy switchblade-wielding dude busts in, grabs him, and robs the place.
Yeah. So the guy handcuffs him to a sink, tells him that everything in his house is shit, didn't have anything worth stealing. And somehow we cut to Danny is now in the cop station with the police. So I don't know how he called the cops because he was handcuffed to the sink. And
he got it out.
Well, how did he reach that? I mean, it was
across the way. He said fishing pole. I guess he had to reach.
I guess he reached it. I don't know. So he goes to the police station, and the cops tell him, "Your mom said to go straight home."
Yeah.
Now you were a police officer at one point in time.
I was.
Did you ever have like a 10-year-old kid in your precinct, and then you just send him home in New York City, just walk home?
And he's been traumatized by a almost murdering thug, thief, robber, burglar.
I mean,
no.
I gotta believe even the cops wouldn't have even driven him home to be home alone after this happened.
No way.
You'd have been like, well, you're gonna come get your kid.
And that's again where the fictional reality world doesn't sync up with ours. So yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Well, he doesn't go home. He decides because of all this bullshit, he's late getting to the movie so he can see Jack Slater 4.
He needs his dad, Jack Slater. I'm going on it on a whole new level. That's all what it is. It's a father-son missing my dad type thing.
Well, see, I thought his father-son relationship was more with Nick.
Could be as well.
So he's late for the movie. So he gets to the theater. Mm-hmm. It's pouring down rain. He's banging on all the doors, trying to open the doors, can't get in. Yelling for Nick, let me in, Nick. Finally, Nick opens the door. You're late.
Right.
So Nick brings him in and tells him, we're going to watch the movie, blah, blah, blah. We set it up for you. And Danny starts to head towards the theater. And he's like, whoa. You have to have a ticket, sir. Nick's dressed up like one of those ushers from like the 1950s.
In the height of great cinema.
Yeah. So he's dressed up. He's like, you have to have a ticket, sir. And then he tells Danny a story.
Ooh.
A story about how when he was Danny's age, his father took him to see Harry Houdini, who he loved. Harry Houdini was his favorite
magician. He wanted to be a magician, but he had small hands.
So he says he met Harry Houdini, and Harry Houdini made a motion with his hand and flipped up a ticket. And he holds this ticket up and turns it kind of side to side. Are you looking to see when Houdini died?
Yes.
Is that what you're doing?
Yes, exactly what I'm doing. This is I'm smelling straight cheese bullshit right here.
I'm pretty sure he did die in the early 1900s, maybe?
1926.
Well, that's acceptable. I mean, this dude's like in his 60s in the movie, right? 70? It was in 93?
Yeah. I'd put him at 80 something.
I don't know. Whatever. So anyways...
Stretch. It's a stretch.
It's a stretch. So anyways...
Well, that was 20 years ago, yeah. I don't know.
He's telling this story. He's holding up the ticket. Whatever.
I'm not buying it. I'm going to say that. I'm not buying it.
And Houdini tells him that he got the ticket from some ancient mystical guy in India, he told him. So
a movie ticket in India, 1926 or something.
Yeah.
Not even that. It's before he died.
Well, he's Hungarian. Houdini was, right?
Okay.
So, I mean, whatever. So...
Yeah, the Indians were
this
big
ticket,
in money,
some sort of mystical ticket. So, anyways, he gives it to Danny. And Danny says, did it ever work? Was it really magic? And he's like, I don't know. I never had the courage to check it out. So, at this point, he tears the ticket in half, sticks half into the ticket box, gives Danny the ticket stub, and says, enjoy the movie, sir. He goes in to watch the movie. Nick goes upstairs to start the film.
And I just want to say... For those out there that might not know, this is a fictional reality of our world, and maybe people don't understand. Magic doesn't exist in our world.
Okay.
So that right there is.
I'm sorry you don't believe.
Yeah, I don't believe in magic. Not magic in that sense. And so yeah, that's kind of hard to deal with. But go ahead, continue.
All right. So all of a sudden, the movie opens. Directed by it's a Franco Colombo film.
Starts off great for me.
Yeah. And
this is the favorite part of my favorite part of the movie.
It's some Dave Mustaine.
Yeah, it's Megadeth, Angry Again. This is Jack Slater 4.
Yep.
And I love the intro. It's a really good intro.
Yeah, for a movie. Several explosions.
Going through walls.
Yeah, going through multiple walls.
Yeah.
Like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and then like a bust through a wall, and then it says introducing Brigitte Nielsen's character, who I can't remember his daughter's name, but it's introducing her.
Okay.
So forth and so forth, and yes, Megadeth is playing,
and I'm happy with that.
And the movie starts, and all of a sudden we see a guy being tortured by some terrible, what's the word I'm looking for? Caricature of an Italian.
You're correct.
It's just a terrible stereotype.
Yeah, it's very bad.
And this old man's getting tortured, and they're asking him all these questions like, does Jack Slater know this? Does he know this? In the middle of the torture, there's a target set up right beside this guy's head that's being tortured, and you see dead center shot.
Scares the guy, of course.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden it zooms like 100 yards away, and you see a guy reading a paper, didn't even look in that direction, just holding a gun in that direction, and he's instantly hit that target. Intimidation factor.
Very big, so very much so. And we see who this guy is. And for those Game of Thrones fans, this is Tywin Lannister, who plays a bad guy in this film. Does he do he does his eyes down too, so you can see, right?
Yeah. You see that he has a glass eye on his left eye, and in this point in time, it's a target. It's like a crosshair.
Yep, that helps him shoot.
Helps him shoot.
And then whenever it shows this, this old mobster guy. It switches back to Danny watching the film. He's eating popcorn. He says, "You're gonna pay. You're gonna," and it is nauseating. A very nauseating scene.
You're gonna
pay. And he's laughing. You have no clue how much. And he hasn't seen this film, of course. This is new, right?
Yeah, but he knows how these Jack Slater films work.
True. Now, this is some enjoyable laughs coming up. This is some good stuff.
God. All right, so cut scene. And you see this really nice looking house. Frankly, it's a nicer looking house on the outside than my house.
Okay.
And you see some cops like kind of sneaking up to it. 2 cops talking, and one of the cops is looking at the other one, and he goes, "Are you sure this is a crack house?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's the tip we got." And
they got an anonymous tip.
Yeah, they got an anonymous tip that this is a crack house. So as they're sneaking up to the house, Arnold, a.k.a. Jack Slater. And I'm going to have to start saying Jack Slater and not Arnold because it can get confusing later.
I wrote Jack Slater.
So I wrote Arnold so many times. But, okay, so Jack Slater rolls up in his convertible, and he's getting groceries out of the car. And he's like, "Hey, guys, what's going on?" And they're like, "Shh, we're on a drug bust. We're about to bust this house." He's like, "The only drugs in this house is prescription for Tylenol." He's like, "What you're going to need if you kick in my second cousin's door."
Yeah, he's going to his second cousin with groceries.
His favorite second cousin.
Yeah. Cram-packed full of groceries.
So he's carrying these groceries up. They're standing on each side of the door, and they're kind of like, "Well, maybe we got the wrong house." So Arnold calls out to his cousin, Frank, I believe is his name. He starts to try to open the. Or he's
about to kick the door.
He's about to kick the door in, and then he thinks better of it.
Yeah,
this isn't the movies.
Exactly.
So he just tries the doorknob. House opens right up. Second cousin's sitting there tied up. He's been beaten because of the interrogation, and he's just sitting there. You want to take it from here?
No, this is all you. You're on a roll, dude.
All right, so his cousin basically reveals the plot.
And this is funny as shit. This is funny. This is definitely the biggest laugh of the film.
Really, was it?
Yeah,
Okay, so his cousin reveals the plot of this terrible caricature Italian, and I don't know what the plot was because I was too busy laughing.
It's the two mob crime families are going to join forces.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Okay. So then all of a sudden, he's whispering all this in his dying breaths, okay? And right before he dies, his death words are, "I'm out of here."
Yeah.
And his head just tilts back, eyes open, and he "I'm out of here." That's what I want on my tombstone. Yeah. That's what I want written on my. I'm out of here.
It is very humorous.
Oh very humorous. We rewound it like 3 or 4 times watching it and laughing at it. So Arnold glances down and sees that there's a little clipboard, like a little metal clipboard, probably smaller than an iPhone, on his chest, and there's a sign on it that says "For Slater." So Arnold pulls it out, And when he does, the metal that's connecting the clipboard hits the metal back, obviously possibly doing something.
Oh, so that's how you think that's how it detonates? That's what's going to happen?
Yeah, that's how the circuit connected.
Okay.
That's what I think happened.
Okay.
Because, basically you got two parts of a circuit, and then when they were separated by that, when you pull it out, they connected.
I'm with you.
And that's how I think it happened. So he sees a number 5.
Ooh.
And then he moves it, and he sees a number 4.
The next card?
A 3.
Ooh, I see where this is going.
Now, granted, this is only going as fast as he's revealing the cards.
True.
When it gets down to 2, he realizes, it's a bomb, run! And all of a sudden,
it's a bomb!
He jumps out the front door, leaping through the air. And then there has to be one of the most ridiculous mega explosions you have ever seen.
Yeah.
In which, the entire house is leveled. Cop car is flipped backwards through the air, blown backwards.
Yeah, there's an explosion, at the cop car's, engine.
Yeah.
Away from the house that throws it.
It was probably a gas line. It hit a gas line.
I guess so.
Mega explosion.
Mm-hmm.
The 2 cops outside, obviously dead. Except one of the cops isn't quite dead yet.
Yeah, he's only mostly dead.
He's been blown up into a palm tree, and it pans up to him real slow. He's hanging his head down. You see him look up, and what I imagine were his death words: 2 days till retirement.
And
then yeah. And of course, then you see Arnold just stand up, brushing himself off.
The whole place is leveled. And then, I'll be honest with you, all of a sudden just all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, so bad guys show up in a truck, shooting machine guns and throwing sticks of dynamite.
Yeah, sticks of dynamite from Acme Explosives.
Acme Explosives,
yeah.
It literally said that.
They're throwing grenades, they're throwing these, they're throwing dynamite and shooting at him. It's a chase between these two. And there's a part where they're throwing dynamite, and Jack Slater shoots the dynamite back towards them, I guess.
It's a movie.
Yep.
It's a movie.
And it comes through the theater.
Yeah.
It lands right beside Danny.
Danny's movie ticket started to glow.
Mm-hmm.
And
why?
It's a magic ticket.
It's a doomed fucking cursed death ticket is what it is. This thing needs to be destroyed. Why did it just decide to make the dynamite go through the screen?
I don't know. So yeah, his ticket starts to glow. The glowy effect hits the screen, and yeah, when Jack shoots the dynamite, it blows through the screen into the movie theater, back behind Danny, up the aisle some, and he kind of turns and looks at it as the dynamite starts rolling towards him. He yells out for Nick, throws his popcorn on top of the dynamite, starts to run. It explodes and blows Danny into the film.
What? He's in the film?
Oh, yeah. And he's going to let you know that a few times.
Yeah.
He's going to let you know a few times. So, Danny is blown into the movie. All of a sudden, we see him laying in the back of Jack's convertible in the floorboard. And it kind of does that thing where the music has gone completely silent. All the sound effects are silent. He's kind of looking around, focusing his eyes.
His point of view.
Yeah, realizes that he's looking up at the sky, and then all of a sudden, Desert Eagle right in front of his face, blasting backwards behind him. Full-on action. He realizes he's now in the film. He's in the movie. Arnold sees him, and...
Jack Slater sees him.
I'm sorry. Jack Slater sees him, and the next line is giving us comedy for fucking years.
Yeah, we've laughed at this.
You and I have undone this fucking line so many times.
Well, we changed it for more humorous effect.
Oh, yeah. Jack Slater says to him, "Who are you?" And here's this kid's acting. If you don't mind, I'll try to say
Go for it, dude.
"Don't shoot. I'm Danny Madigan. I'm a kid." That's the line. That's the exact line.
The line encompasses everything wrong with this film, in my opinion. His delivery and the fact that was written in a script.
Don't shoot. I'm Danny Madigan. I'm a kid.
Yeah. And, of course, we always said, I think we called him Jimmy.
I'm Jimmy Fuck. I'm a kid.
I'm Jimmy Fuck. I'm a kid.
That's what we've said for years.
I don't think I have ever heard a kid say, I'm a kid. Like, in like, proclaiming who they are. You know what I mean? Like, don't do that. I'm so-and-so. I'm a kid. It's just stupid. It's just a stupid line in the film. But, man, we have had some good laughs at that.
I mean, we have said, for years, dude, now, we have said, I'm Jimmy Fuck, I'm a kid.
Yeah, I'm a kid. Don't do it, I'm a kid. I thought there was a part where he goes, don't do it. Where was that? Did I miss it?
I don't know. I can't remember.
I don't remember hearing it now either. It must be one of our many other bad fucking films that we've watched throughout time.
Must be.
Well, this chase keeps on going. He shoots a guy on the back of the truck. Somehow the guy leaves the truck from the shot.
Yeah.
He goes.
He got his angel wings and flew straight up.
Exactly. There is some wire work in this film that's very atrocious.
Several times.
Yep. He flies into an ice cream truck. It explodes.
Put that guy on ice.
Yep.
And then what? What does he say after that?
I don't know.
Cone the phrase.
Yeah, to cone the phrase.
Put that guy on ice to cone the phrase.
So the guy,
fuck you, Arnold.
Oh yeah. The guy smashes into the ice cream truck. It explodes, and then it sends an ice cream cone into the back of this guy's head. That's where that comes from.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but this is jarring to the viewer. You don't know how to react to this, and you're not sure if you knew that you were going to see this when you went into this.
Sorry, man, but
film.
I agree. I agree with what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying.
I agree with what you're saying. But dude, when a human body flying through the windshield of an ice cream truck causes it to explode,
that's funny.
We're in top secret level comedy at this point.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, it was old switcheroo. This movie was an old switcheroo, is what it was. There is a Sony mini disc player that's shown. There's a fault in the film.
That's how he's playing his music.
Yeah. And there's a van that pulls up beside him, right?
Yep.
And a guy in a seat, mechanized seat with a Gatling gun, starts shooting at his car. And so Jack drives his car off the bridge down into the ravine.
Like a 60-foot drop.
And I think we saw this in Terminator 2. It's the same place they filmed Terminator 2 with the car chase, with the big truck behind him he
knew where he was going.
Yeah. He drives down into the ravine, and Jack plays chicken with the truck that's chasing him later on. Now, I've got some jumps in some of this stuff, because this stuff is just too wild.
That's fun. Yeah, this is a lot of action in this scene.
So Jack plays chicken with the truck, chasing him, and the truck, he goes flying. It shows them going close to each other, and all of a sudden, the truck just airborne.
Well, the truck, the guy driving the truck flinches.
Of course.
So he jerks the wheel left. He hits a pile of cardboard boxes.
It's going to send you airborne.
And his truck explodes from that.
Yes. As it's about to slam into a building.
Before it gets to the building.
Before it gets to the building, it explodes. And it lands into what I guess is a fashion model thing. Maybe it's a photograph session or something of models that all go running. You see a bunch of tits and asses as they're running.
Yeah.
And so that's interesting, I guess.
Now we're back at the police station. Instantly.
And this is all I've got written here. Amazing police department scene is hard to describe.
It starts off with, as they're walking into the police station, Sharon Stone has come out fresh from her interrogation by Michael Douglas from Basic Instinct. She's standing out front smoking a cigarette.
Yep. One of our many other cameos.
There's so many fucking cameos in this movie. It's incredible.
And that's always movie poison.
So, yeah, you go in and it's like Brenda said, man.
It's hard to describe.
You can't describe what the inside of this police station looks like. It looks like a food court at a shopping mall.
Yeah, there's about 4,000 people.
Yeah, there's so many people in there. Cops are getting their assignments.
They're getting their partners.
Yeah, they're getting their partners. You're seeing a really fat cop partnered with a really skinny woman.
Yeah.
You see another cop partnered with a rabbi.
Yeah.
Like an undercover rabbi. And then you see a cop partnered with
a cartoon cat.
Whiskers. His name is Whiskers. And he's played by Danny DeVito.
Yeah, he's voiced by Danny DeVito. He kind of looks like Columbo. And I'm speechless at what I'm seeing there.
Don't really know what to say to any of this.
No, that's really weird.
So at this point, you see Arnold carrying Danny by one hand. By the way, he's on wires, moving on on the end of a fishing rod.
Oh yeah.
In which Arnold drops him down on his desk. And at this point, a cop yells out, "Slater, your wife's on the phone."
This is a humorous scene as well.
So Arnold takes the phone call. And he starts going, "Of course, yes, you're right, uh-huh." And he opens up his drawer. He pulls out another mini disc player. Mm-hmm. Really getting a lot of mini discs.
Yeah.
And he's got a stack of tapes in here, okay, labeled different things. And I guess the one he grabbed was like
The Shrew.
The Shrew. So he pops it in, and then he presses play, and he sets his phone down on the speaker, and all it is him going, Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny.
You're right. I mean, of course, we've always made fun of that.
We've referenced that a lot, too. Every once in a while, me and you will be like, yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. You're right. So, yeah, that's kind of funny. And this is the point where Danny realizes this is not the real world.
Yeah, this is a movie. This is a movie. I'm in the movie.
I'm in the movie world. Because...
You saw a cartoon cat, for God's sake.
Well, and he goes in front of the chief of police, and he's, through a scene that I didn't really want to talk much about, he's assigned to Jack as a partner.
Yeah.
Because that's what you do, apparently, in these movies.
Danny's Jack's new partner.
He's like, how am I a kid? Because I believe he says that he's a kid. How am I partnered with you? This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, he's like in the real world, like, I'd be assigned a social worker. Like, DSS would be taking my ass home.
So they go to Blockbuster.
Yeah, because he keeps trying to convince Jack that he's a kid. And Arnold goes,
show him how.
He goes, all right, I'm going to give you 10 minutes to try to prove to me that we're in a movie. So where else would you do that? Blockbuster Video.
Of course.
Because what are you going to do?
You go show him. Yeah, you go show him himself.
Yeah, you go show him in his own movie.
Yeah. And so he's going to show him in his own movie. There's a standee of Terminator 2.
Yep.
Pans up. Sylvester Stallone is the Terminator in Terminator 2. Which doesn't really make sense.
Arnold said he loved it. It was his best work ever.
Yeah, he loves that guy. Always love when those guys reference each other in their movies. That guy's a pussy. Remember that? Tango and Cash?
Rambo was a pussy. Yeah, well, that was about himself.
Yeah, that's right. All the women inside the place are models. They're all gorgeous. And Danny actually, it shows that to him. Their numbers all start with 555.
A.G. Everhart is the cashier at the place. For God's sake.
So he's kind of pointing that out to him.
Yeah, he's like, oh, he looks at one random girl. He's like, what's your phone number? Or what's the number to the Blockbuster? And she's like 555-2598.
She knew it. She knew the number.
Yeah, she just knows.
I know the number too.
She rents a lot of movies too.
I guess so.
She's a big movie buff. Yeah. So her and Danny had that in common. Then he says to her, "What's your phone number?" And she's like, "Yeah, right." And Arnold's like, "It's okay." So she says her phone number also starts out 555. Yeah. And he goes, "Well, there can only be 999,999 numbers that start with 555." And Arnold's like, "Okay." And he's like, "Well, how many people are in California?" And he's like, "I don't know, like 7 million." And he's like, "Well, hello." And he's like, "That's why we have area codes."
That's why we got area codes.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to do like just really terrible Arnold whenever I can. So yeah, he tells Arnold that he's seen where his second cousin was tortured.
Favorite second cousin.
Yeah, second cousin. He shows him the house. They're driving by.
Yep.
And he's like, "There's the house right there." He says it's got to be on the other side of the street because it was Ocean
View.
And there's back and forth, much talking out of Arnold from this. They go right up. They knock on the door. They meet Tywin, and a lot of attitude between the two, between Tywin Lannister and Arnold.
Jack.
Yeah, Jack. Sorry, Jack Slater. The dogs are called in.
Yep. And the guy says, make no mistake, they are extremely well trained. He snaps his fingers. Cuts over to the dogs, Brandon, and what are the dogs doing?
They're doing a pyramid.
They're in a pyramid formation.
They're in a pyramid like the cheerleaders do. That's an assault on the intelligence.
And he says, make no mistake, if I snap my fingers again, they'd tear you to shreds.
Not really. It's
They're extremely well trained.
Yeah, exactly.
Jack tells him, I don't know how you're going to snap without your thumbs.
Yeah, I'm going to break.
That's a threat.
That's pretty good.
So, basically, Danny says, this is the guy that fucking was there. He's got a glass eye. And this guy overhears Danny saying this stuff to him. He's like, how the hell does he know this?
Right.
And Arnold basically tells him, take your fucking sunglasses off. The guy pulls his sunglasses down. He does have a glass eye. It's a smiley face. And he tells Arnold, have a nice day.
That makes sense with a smiley face then.
Yeah. And as they're walking off, Danny says, well, before it was like a crosshair.
Yeah, crosshair.
It was a red eye with a crosshair. And then, of course, that guy's like, he's just listening. So, yeah.
And he wants to know how this kid knew so much. And he wants more info on the kid. Because there is a butler-type guy, the Chinese-looking dude.
Played by Professor Tanaka.
Yep. And so he's telling me, he's like, we got to find out more about this kid. He knows a lot of stuff. They go to Jack's house. They meet his daughter. She kisses Danny on the mouth. Full tongue, not tongue. I don't think there's tongue involved.
No tongue.
He's a kid. I think he told us that. And who she play? Who plays her?
It's Brigitte Nielsen.
Brigitte Nielsen? You mean from Flavor Flav? And you talking about Red Sonja? Those are two extremes right there. I must say right there. It's probably some name that's closely, like that. So
it's very similar name.
Yeah, he meets his
daughter.
Maybe
it's Brigitte Wilson.
That could be it.
That's it. I think that's it.
Jack sees a picture of his son, and it's sad for Jack because his son did die. Because what happened is, as the Ripper was falling from the gunshot, he grabbed Jack's kid, and they both tumbled over the side of the building, dead. So his boy's in the cold grave.
Bridget Wilson.
All right. That's why when you said it earlier, I was like, Bridget Wilson. They both tumbled off the side of the building. There's a knock on the door in which Danny goes and opens it, and it is the bad guy, Tywin Lannister. His name is Benedict. And he has his whole crew nicely framed around him as they bust into the house, roughing both him up and his daughter. And he wants to know how the boy knows so much stuff. He knows, and I've got lies written here. I have no clue why I wrote lies down. But they go back and forth. He takes the kid's wallet, which he's got the golden ticket in. So Benedict finds the golden wallet. The golden ticket.
It's Willy Wonka, movie.
Yeah, it is. I wish it was Willy Wonka. It was much better. There's a stack of money that's fake money. I guess Jack said something about it before.
Yeah, he said it was evidence. It was counterfeit money. It was evidence, which I thought it was funny because why would you have evidence in your house? And he says when you burn it, it burns funny colors.
Right.
So basically, Danny tricks the thugs into
thinking it's real.
Thinking it's real money. He's like, look, there's some money in the dresser. Just take it and go. And they're like, they pull it out. And they're like, wow, boss, look at this. And then he's like, let me see it. And he tosses it to Benedict Lannister. And Benedict goes, these are marked bills, aren't they? You were trying to get me caught. So he throws it to his crony, and he's like, burn this money. So of course, when they throw it in the fireplace, it starts sending up red smoke,
tons of red smoke,
which is a signal to Jack that there may be some sort of trouble at the house.
He's on his way home.
Yeah, he's on his way back. After driving around thinking about his son.
Yep, he was in a sad place. So Jack sees it. He's coming in. Jack's daughter is in a room with these goons. I'm not sure what was going to happen there.
One goon.
But she's kicking the shit out of him with extreme skills.
Yeah.
But she's yelling as if he's working her over.
Right.
So, that's interesting. And then all of a sudden Jack jumps in from the ceiling. So this is another movie where we have somebody jumping down from the ceiling glass.
Yeah, I put Jack shows up, all hell breaks loose.
One word I have here, tomfoolery. As this next scene is nothing but tomfoolery.
Okay.
Of action and zaniness.
All right. Well, the first thing he does is he grabs two guys' arms, points their guns at each other, and guys kill each other.
Yeah, those guys see that the guns are pointed not at their target, but at their comrade, and they say, well, I'll pull the trigger. Oh, I'm shooting my friend in the face.
Just don't pull the trigger.
Yeah. That doesn't make much sense.
So, needless to say, within a couple seconds, Jack wipes out everybody in the room.
Yeah,
except Benedict escapes with one other crony maybe in a car.
I've got him listed as Red Eye because he's got a red eye now in his eye thing.
Well, and it's funny you say that because Jack looks at Danny as he's standing on the balcony of the house and he goes, stay here, I'll be back. And he goes, where are you going? He goes, got to catch the red eye.
I like that. And then he proceeds to jump, flip, do somersaults and tumbles down the side of the mountain.
Like 100 feet. I bet he jumps 100 feet down. He lands on his feet, tumbles into a somersault, then flips over another balcony, and then lands on the ground to cut off Benedict.
But the way this movie is structured, this is all fairly normal. We should all be reacting. This is normal.
Well, we're in a movie world.
That's true.
It's an action movie.
It shouldn't be jarring at all to us.
Nope, this is okay. This is a movie world.
Yep. The boy gets on a girl's bike.
Yep.
And he's going to play chicken against the car that Benedict's in. Then he realizes halfway there, oh no, I'm the
comedy sidekick.
I'm the comedy sidekick.
I'm not the hero. I'm the comedy sidekick. This isn't going to work. So he steers off quickly.
He flies,
E.T. style. Because he goes right in front of the moon,
and the moon
with his bike with the basket.
And the moon is massive in size.
Well, somebody's been shooting with a sniper rifle.
That's true. It's gotten much larger. He flies. When he first starts to take off, he's clearly on a crane or something, and he just deviates away and then goes up into the air. And then, like you said, it shows him flying. The special effects for this is very poor looking. And several times in this movie, the explosions are just superimposed on the place that's exploding. But then they had a really good explosion with the house of his second cousin. So that doesn't make much sense. He flies and crashes. The moon is massive, like I said. Benedict is back home. He's looking through the boy's Velcro wallet. He finds the ticket. And when he messes with the ticket, he can see this like portal type thing opening on the wall beside him. And he's kind of like, what's this all about? Cuscuse. And then...
conveniently, as this is happening, in the background on his television, the Twilight Zone's playing.
Yep, talking about...
Twilight Zone. Yeah, you're about to enter another dimension.
Yep.
And the music's going, and Benedict kind of sticks his hand, touching through the wall, and realizes this might be some sort of portal.
Yep. The other cops have shown up, and they're doing that whole, I call it the cop cleanup scene, where they're all cleaning up after a scene of crimeage. And,
crimeage.
Kid tries to make, Danny, he tries to make Jack say a cuss word. Obviously, he writes it down on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
And, of course, he's like, you can't say it because this is a PG-13 movie.
Yep.
Well, I'm sitting there saying, this is an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie in 1993. How the fuck is this a PG-13 movie? And this is supposed to be a bit action movie. You think it would be rated R, but, Terminator 2 was PG-13, if I'm not mistaken, or was it R?
Terminator 2? That's R.
Where?
Violence, I guess.
I guess stabbing that woman through her face. His mom.
Yeah,
through her mouth.
Yeah, but I'm almost certain that movie's rated R.
Okay.
We'll check it after the podcast. I could be wrong.
Yeah, he says you can't say it because the movie's only 13. One of the cops finds the red eyes left behind at the scene of the crime, and right before he's able to, he picks up and right before Jack sees it, he goes to make like no, and huge explosion. You see it from a distance. Again, this is a superimposed explosion in a distant scene of Los Angeles.
It's like a mushroom cloud.
Yeah, it's huge and it doesn't exist. It was made with computers.
It doesn't exist.
They survived, and they have the cartoon frizzy hair, ashes, ash clothing, dark, black stuff all over them. So they survived as they're sitting in front of the chief of police, once again being being yelled at by this guy, and Jack is suspended for some reason. Doesn't make much sense, but we'll go with it because you have to go with everything with this film. And whenever he's cleaning out his desk, you could hear a pin drop from the other cops as they're all standing watching.
They're stunned.
In silence.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's been suspended. No reason at all. Okay, so guys came into his house, beat up his daughter, and there a bunch of guns, shooting and stuff like that. They come. There's an explosion left from the bad guys. He gets suspended. How does any of that make sense? It doesn't make sense. But that's the world of Jack Slater. They go to he's got an apartment that he goes to. It's pretty bare. He quickly shoots a guy that was waiting in his closet. And the guy had like a machine gun, like a knife, and like rope.
Yeah, and he's like somebody that was going to repel in, even though he's just hiding in the closet.
And Danny's like, well, you just shot a guy. He's like, yeah, there's always a guy waiting in the closet for me.
Yeah, and then all of his wardrobe's the exact same.
Yeah, it's all the same. So he just takes out another fresh one. How bad is that, Arnold, I'm doing? I'm trying to really do it as worse as I can.
Well, I've heard worse from you.
I'm glad you said for me. That's good. And there's a lot of talking here in some of these scenes. And this is really where I thought this movie was getting really long in the tooth, man. I was like, whoa, this is starting to really hurt me. Again, this is where I realized that he's got the most lines of any movie. And then they show a mob funeral on top of a building. Okay? So there's a guy, and I'm starting to really zone out at this point. There's a guy that his nickname was Farts or something like that.
Leo Farts, I believe.
Leo Farts. He's died. This crime family's up there, this mob crime family. And there's
Leo the Farts.
Okay.
Leo the Fart.
Okay. There's a helicopter shot where you can see the window of the helicopter and the engine. And we didn't really understand because we were like, is this just an aerial scene?
Yeah, I thought it was a bad camera shot, like where they just really showed the window of this helicopter.
So you find out that the body is full of nerve gas of this corpse, okay? And he's like not in a casket. He's like laying up on a thing.
Well, it is a casket. There's just no cover on it.
I thought you could see his full body almost.
You could, because there was no cover on any part of it. So it was just... but it was still a casket. He was down in it. It just didn't have a top on it, basically.
Okay. So Benedict's there, and he pulls the Farts guy's finger to activate this nerve gas as his little watch starts ticking down.
Just dumb.
Now, there's been a guy that's been talking to Jack in the police department. I didn't really catch what his position was.
Well, I think he's like an FBI agent.
Okay.
And his name is John Practice.
Okay.
Because when he comes up to Arnold, he's like, "How do you get to Carnegie Hall?"
Practice.
Exactly. See, he's John Practice.
Okay, I got you. He's been talking to him a bunch in the movie, and he double crosses him.
Yeah.
Now, some of this may be out of sorts because I'm really starting to lose it now with this film.
Sorry, I was looking up T2. It was rated R, by the way.
So he's double crossed by the guy. Danny shows up, and he's got a gun, and more attitude and bad acting from Danny. That's a given. And the guy's able to snatch the gun out of his hand. And so I can't remember. Danny had a gun because he was left behind, right?
Right. Here's the deal. Okay. So they pull up to the place first. Schwarzenegger's like, "I'm going to go meet Practice." And he tells Danny, "Stay in the car." And he's like, "Why can't I come with you?" He's like, "What always happens in the movies to the guy who they tell to stay in the car and then comes in?" He's like, "He saves the day." And then Arnold's like, "Or he gets killed." And Danny's like, "Well, what if staying in the car is what gets me killed?" And he's like, "There's a gun in the glove compartment." Opens the glove compartment, like 40 guns fall out into his lap. So
that's how he saves the day, is because he's got a gun. He pulls it on him. The guy's able to snatch the gun away from Danny.
Yeah.
And then he's got them both. Is that where he's both got them? He's got them both tied up?
Yeah, he's got them both handcuffed. And that's when bad character Italian shows up again.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He says some bullshit to him and basically tells one of his henchmen, "Kill these guys, I'm out of here." And then Benedict's like, "I'll kill him." And he's like, "No, I want you upstairs at the funeral to make sure everything goes right." So then, as they're standing there about to be killed,
Savior
Whiskers shows up.
Yep, the cartoon cat shows up to save the day.
And shoots them. Shoots the bad guy in the back.
Paul Abdul needs to be in this movie.
Yeah, this movie's definitely taking 2 steps back.
That's for sure. We really have. So, the kid runs to get control of a crane while Slater goes to the funeral.
Now, I have written here in quotes, Arnold's ruse.
Yep.
That's what I call this scene.
Well,
Arnold's ruse. Jack's ruse.
Right, the kid's trying to figure out the crane.
Yeah, because the kid brilliantly runs to a construction site with a gun out, waving it around, saying, "I need your help. Help move this crane." And, of course, everybody runs off.
And then this is your scene. This is another one of your real enjoyed scenes right here.
It's incredible.
It's funny.
I love this scene. So Arnold excuses himself. He's passing through this entire mob family to get up to the body.
Yeah, pardon me.
And he gets up there. There's a guy standing, already paying his respects. Arnold's like, "He was a good man." Oh, I'm sorry. He was a good man. A flatulent man. And then, so that guy kind of walks off. And then all of a sudden, I shit you not, people, this is about to happen. Arnold goes, "Wait, do you hear that?" And all of a sudden, he leans his head down real close to the guy's body, and he starts talking like this. "I'm still alive. I need help. Get me out of here." Like, Arnold actually does this, people. This is not made up. And all of a sudden, he spins around. "This man's not dead.
He's still alive." And he's got his arms up there.
So he picks the dude up and starts carrying him on his shoulders, like kind of like a fireman's carry, except he's got him going across both the backs of his shoulders.
And I'm not sure if this is yet a dummy. I believe this is the dummy.
He wasn't carrying it around a dude that fat.
It's funny, too.
Arnold's strong, but not like that. So he starts yelling, "He needs a doctor. This man has to get to the doctor." So he's like pushing through the crowd carrying. And all of a sudden this guy walks up. He goes, "I'm a doctor." He's like, "You're a doctor? Check his chin." And all of a sudden Arnold swings the guy's body and knocks the doctor out. And the doctor kind of staggers. Arnold grabs him by the back of the coat collar and he goes, "The doctor has fainted. Get this man help." He's like, this guy needs a doctor. But when he goes, "The doctor has fainted,"
it's funny.
Dude, it breaks me, man. I was just almost in tears laughing at it.
And once they realize that he's taken off with his corpse, pretty much, all these people pull guns. The nuns draw guns.
Everybody has guns.
The nuns, the old ladies, the old men. Everybody's got guns drawn at him. Danny's gotten the crane working now.
Yeah.
And he's knocking people over the hook that it has on it.
Yeah, Arnold wanted to basically throw the body on the hook and then drag it out. That way, in case the gas exploded out, it's not going to kill anybody. He's trying to save these people, essentially.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, Danny doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. So the ball rips right through the middle of the funeral gathering, knocking people over, and Arnold's like, fuck, now I gotta run to the other side of the building. So he gets over there, all these people have guns. Arnold turns around, he hears all these guns clicking behind him as they're cocking them. And he spins around with the body, he goes, don't shoot! And he throws his arms up, and the body goes flying off the back of the building.
But it's caught by the hook of the ball.
Of the wrecking ball.
Yeah.
And at this point, people are fed up with Arnold's shit, and they start shooting.
Yep, they start shooting. And he falls. He kind of falls, jumps over the edge, and he catches himself on the...
body.
Yeah, on the body of the guy. More humor.
Well, we skipped ahead a little bit, actually.
Okay.
First, he lands on an elevator.
That's
a
right.
glass elevator. Right. At which point, he falls through the roof of the glass elevator. He's down the elevator, and now... a helicopter comes down. This is the helicopter.
So we know that it's actually a helicopter we saw earlier.
Right.
It's just it's so far from scene to scene, it doesn't make sense when the first time you see it.
I still think it was probably a mistake earlier.
Okay, that works too.
So the helicopter, of course, has got many machine guns on it. It's pointed at Arnold. A door opens. The elevator stops on the floor, and luckily the door opens behind Arnold. He goes to get off.
All the
tons of guys with guns.
Yep.
So what does Arnold do? Of course, he ducks. Helicopter blows up all the people in the hallway
with the machine gun.
Helicopter doors, elevator doors shut. Arnold turns over on his back now that all the glass has been destroyed in the elevator. He goes to shoot at the helicopter. Helicopter bumps into part of the crane that Danny has swung over, which starts to cause them to lose control. Arnold's shooting at it. Helicopter crashes. This is a no-fly zone.
That's pretty good that you remember that.
And at this point, while he's standing there looking as the helicopter crashes and blows up, the elevator basically rips in half at this point.
And he has to jump off. The stunt double has to jump off.
Yeah, stunt double with gray hair.
Yeah,
has to jump off.
Ted Danson.
He falls forward, and then this is when he basically catches the corpse, and he's now swinging on the bottom of the crane.
But then they both fall into a tar pit that's down below.
Brea tar pits.
Yep. And luckily that's good because the guy's nerve gas goes off, I guess, in his bum. And, right? That's where it was going to come out of.
And it blows up, causing a huge fart bubble.
Huge fart bubble, which the tar is able to contain. It consumes that fart.
That's
what it does. As they watch, he's covered in muck and of tar.
Covered in tar.
Yeah, covered in tar.
Pulls a couple paper towels.
His face is clean.
Completely wipes his face clean.
Yep.
It cuts to his daughter pulling up in her monster truck.
Yeah.
She's like, Dad, I knew you'd be here. I brought you some spare clothes. He's finishing up, brushing himself off. He's completely clean.
It's pretty good, actually.
And even Danny goes, tar sticks to some people.
Yeah.
Like, once again, proving this is a movie.
Yep. Back at the mob house, the mob guy, the older dude is swimming. Benedict shoots him after some talk back and forth.
Yeah, he's basically tired of being this dude's lackey.
Yep. And he's figured out about Danny in the parallel worlds.
Yep.
That if he can do it, I can do it. But as he's thinking about that, the monster truck crashes through the wall. And then it's a fight between Jack and Benedict. Pretty much Jack throws Benedict and his henchman. Didn't it show his henchman go through too?
Yep, they both did.
Yeah. It through the portal to Danny's world.
Yep.
So now we've got Benedict into Danny's world, our world. So Danny and Jack both go through the portal. And they're already gone. It was literally like, I would say it was probably maybe 30 or 45 seconds that Benedict went through, that Jack and them go through, and he's gone. Like, he must have realized where he was and he took off, running. Both of them just took off running. They weren't like, where the hell are we?
They hopped in a cab, didn't they?
Yeah, but still, I'm talking about I think if I jumped into a place and didn't know exactly where I was, there would be a time where I'd be like, okay, how do I get out of it? What am I doing here? Like, let's gather our senses here.
I hear you.
So, yeah, they're in our world now. Jack throws them through. They go through the portal.
Now, we got to address something real quick before we get too far into this part. This is where you really start having problems with the movie. Because whereas Danny comes into the movie world, into Jack Slater 4, okay, he's protected by the fact that everything's a movie.
Right.
And he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Now that Jack has now passed into the real world, he's lost his powers. Unfortunately, that doesn't seem to maintain with itself on Jack, because there's times when it doesn't look like he's lost his powers, and then it doesn't maintain with other characters that
are introduced.
Yeah,
so it's bad.
Yeah, so at this point, that is an issue with the film in the sense of like you're not keeping up with your own rules.
Yeah, you've got rules. You've shown that there's rules. And if you think about it, this whole movie is based on rules. And the fact that some of them don't exist or do exist. The fact that the rules don't exist in his world, and they're supposed to exist in ours. And then, like you said, it's stripped from some people and not from others. So the plot's kind of bonked right there. So Benedict takes over a taxi, and Jack shoots at the taxi. He's expecting it to explode. He's like, here's one more explosion for you. Oh, there's an explosion. And then, of course, it doesn't happen. And then what's so funny, there's many gunshots. These guys, there's cops all around that. And it would have been instantly arrested or shot himself.
Yeah.
And then nobody screamed and yelled and went crazy whenever he was doing this. I guess New York was really bad back in '93. That this is all pretty normal.
And Arnold goes, I think the cabs are bulletproof.
Yeah, the cabs are bulletproof.
So Arnold doesn't get how things work in this universe.
They give chase in another car. I don't remember them how they got that other car. Just pull another guy out.
No. They ran up to a car parked on the street. He punches through the glass.
Oh, that's right.
And then as he's driving the car, I guess he somehow hotwired it.
Yes.
He goes, oh, my hand hurts. And he's like, yeah, dick, you're in the real world now. You can't just punch windows out and not expect your hand to hurt.
Yep.
So at this point, he corners Benedict's car in an alley. He's in the alley. Chicken.
Yeah, they're going to play chicken.
Once again, chicken. And Danny's like, you can't do that here, man. You're going to die.
He gets out of the car, right?
Yeah, he gets out. He's like, fuck this. So Arnold takes off, flying straight towards it. Jack does, I'm sorry. Jack's flying straight towards the car. Cab's coming towards him. They crash into each other. And from a distance, you see Danny just screaming. And all of a sudden, you see these two cars just smash head onto each other. And, they both, buck up from the back and,
funny.
Slam down. And then, you just hear, car horn going off. And as Danny runs up, Jack gets out of the car and he's like, damn it, that really hurt. And then you see Professor Tanaka, who was the henchman for Benedict.
He's KO.
You see him completely through the windshield and head splayed open with blood going down the front of the cab.
Yeah, completely KO.
Yeah, he's dead.
That'll teach him.
And Danny's like, you need to check to make sure they're dead because they always come back in the final act. And he's like, they're dead. Look at that guy. And he's like, yeah, well, let's check Benedict. Open the back of the cab. Benedict was not in the cab.
That's very realistic in our realistic world. That they wouldn't see him or that he would be okay and just gone in this alleyway.
Well, I figured he was gone before they even started the game of chicken.
Think so?
Yeah, he told his henchmen.
You're going to take one from the team, play a game of chicken, and you're going to eat it, pal. That's what's going to happen. You better not fucking flinch on that chicken, dude.
Well, but he doesn't know. But his henchman doesn't know how things work either. Because
guess so.
He just came out of the movies too. He doesn't know how the real world physics work.
Well, Danny takes Jack to see Nick at the theater. Nick gets to meet Jack, and it's a big, oh, you're a great guy. I love you.
I'm a big fan of your films. And he's like, he's not who you think he is.
Yeah. Jack is bummed about being fictional. And,
yeah.
They go to Danny's house, and his mom has been worried. Benedict shoots a guy on the street, testing the theory that no cops instantly show up the way that it normally does whenever he does something bad in his world.
Yeah, first he sees a guy get murdered for his shoes. I remember when all that was going on in the early 90s.
Oh, yeah.
My parents I remember my parents wouldn't buy me a pair of Reebok pumps because they thought I'd be killed for somebody to steal them.
Where to pump you up?
I eventually got those shoes, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, so he witnesses a murder. So then he goes to a garage where a guy's working. He's like, hey, I was wondering if you would help me test something. And the guy's like, oh, yeah, sure, what's up? And then all of a sudden he's kills him. And then he's standing in the middle of the street. He's like, I just murdered a man. I want to confess.
Shut up down there.
Yeah, and some guy's like, shut up. I'm like,
oh, gosh.
Nobody in New York cares.
Danny, Jack, and his mom sit around the table having breakfast at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I guess, in the day.
Yeah. So, Danny wakes up, and they've been sitting around talking all night, and she goes, why didn't you tell me Jack was a cop? I've got a major issue with this.
Yeah, this is wrong.
So, somehow, Danny's mom believes Jack is Jack, not Arnold Schwarzenegger. I gotta believe that if you live in the United States of America, in the time period when Terminator 2 came out, you know who Arnold Schwarzenegger is, even if you never saw the movie.
Everybody
knew who Arnold Schwarzenegger was. So how she can look at him and say and believe he's somebody else that just looks exactly like him is beyond me.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. It's not like this guy is just a normal Joe Blow, and this is Arnold Schwarzenegger with the muscles and the hey. You know what I'm saying?
It's ridiculous.
And not only that, but Arnold's also equally stupid. I mean, Jack is, as he doesn't know who Mozart is.
Yeah, he hears Mozart on the radio, and he's like, "What is this?" And they're like, "It's Mozart."
Oh,
the guy Practice killed. That's what he says.
Because the guy Practice killed played Salieri,
who killed Mozart and Amadeus.
And I'm sitting there saying,
but doesn't Mozart exist in his movie world?
Yeah, why would Mozart? He's a character of history. That's like saying, "Who's on the $1 bill? George Washington. Who is this? I don't know who this is." That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, so this is one of where it really starts their own rules are kind of unraveling where it doesn't make any sense.
Dude, this is all you. Because of this scene, of them sitting in here, I completely checked out of my notes. I do come back, but don't call it a comeback. I've been here for a year. Okay?
All right.
So this is you. I mean, I do come back, but this scene here was a real, not only was it a talky gab moment and of like a lull, but instantly both of them were stupid characters. His mom doesn't make any sense, and then him with that.
All right, so it cuts to a scene of Benedict sitting in a booth, and he's talking to someone, and you don't see who he's talking to immediately, and he's having this conversation, and he's saying, "Look, we need to kill this guy. I know you're not going to understand this, but his name is Arnold Schwarzenegger." He's like, "And we need to kill him," and he goes, "I think you'll find that in this place, once you get used to it, once you adjust to it, you're going to really like being here." And he goes, "And we're going to keep you out of things like this." And you see he has the movie reels sitting on this diner table of Jack Slater 3, and as the camera pans around, it's the Ripper.
Ooh.
So he's now gone into taking the movie, and he's pulled the Ripper out of the film.
I thought the Ripper was dead. I guess he pulled him from an earlier movie.
Well, or earlier in that movie. Take him out of Jack Slater 3, take him out before he gets killed in the film.
Can't he technically go take multiple versions? Well, he's not in the other movies. That's interesting. That's a whole another twist that you could go if there's multiple people. So technically, you could go get Jack from another movie. You could get multiple Arnold Schwarzeneggers if you go get him from Jack 1 and 2.
8 versions of Freddy.
Yeah. Okay.
So anyways, or better yet, we get Robert Englund Freddy. We get Jackie Earle Haley Freddy.
No. Let's not do that.
So, all right. So, anyways, he's realized that he can start pulling bad guys out of movies. So he's pulled the Ripper out.
They probably should have shown that. I think in storytelling, I think it would have been cool.
Yeah, I just took it for granted because he's got the movie.
Come with me through this wall, okay?
Whatever. I mean, plus he's playing a psychotic in those movies, so yeah, you wouldn't think you'd really want to listen.
Yep. I don't know why he went and got the Ripper specifically, but I don't know.
I don't know either. But anyways, so basically he shows him a newspaper, and there's a movie premiere for Jack Slater 4.
Okay.
And he's like, this is where we're going to get him. So it cuts to the movie premiere. It's the red carpet. You see Arnold going in with Maria Shriver. She looks like an anorexic clown.
Yeah, you look like an anorexic clown.
No, she tells him, don't plug Planet Hollywood. It's very tacky.
This is big Planet Hollywood.
Don't talk about Planet Hollywood. So, they're asking Arnold questions, and he's like, this movie's very responsible. They toned the kill count way down in this film. There's only 48 people killed, whereas in the last movie there was 119.
Well, they interview some stars, too, in these scenes, don't they?
Yeah, well, they start off, you see Little Richard being interviewed, and he's like, "Oh, I love Arnold." And,
whoa.
They're
Jim Belushi, normal movie stars.
Jim Belushi, he's like, I'm not an Arnold fan, but she is. It gets her all hot and bothered, so he's talking about his wife. So, then we'll get to the other ones in a minute. So, at any point, if whatever happens, somebody says the word Hollywood, and Arnold goes, "Oh, speaking of Hollywood, we have Planet Hollywood restaurants with so much merchandise."
Jesus. You're going to chew your own face off.
Movie memorabilia.
You're going to chew your own face off with that.
So, of course, he starts talking about Planet Hollywood, and Maria Shriver drags him off. Then, cut to interview with JCVD. That's Jean-Claude Van Damme.
One of the best moments of the movie.
And all this is going on, and then all of a sudden the Ripper, dressed as the Ripper, shows up, and he's walking down the red carpet, And they're like, oh, it's Tom Noonan who played the Ripper in Jack Slater 3. He's here, blah, blah, blah. And they're
he's really dedicated to the character.
Yeah, they're like talking to him like he's just dressed up as that character, showing up for a premiere. And at this point, his agent shows up and he's like, what are you doing? He's like, you're committing suicide here with your acting career. And as he drags him off, Tom Noonan, the actor playing the Ripper, he shows up on the red carpet.
It's hijinks.
And they're like, we just saw you. Yeah, like, how are you there? Here not in your makeup now all of a sudden? Yeah. So they don't really know what's going on.
Lisa Gibbons
is the apprentice.
The apprentice, yeah.
So all this is going on. He goes in. Hold on, let me find my note real quick. All right, so Ripper shows up to kill Arnold. Okay, so he goes in. His agent drags him to a closet because he basically wants to get him a change of clothes so he doesn't look like the Ripper.
Right.
He murders his agent.
Yep.
He now puts on his agent's jacket over his rain slicker, so he's still not hidden.
No, that's not going to help you.
So he just kind of mingles in with the crowd going up, and he goes up to the second balcony because Arnold, not Jack, Arnold at the movie premiere is on the lower balcony. So he goes up top to basically get an above view so he can kill him. Jack runs into the theater, and the people working the snack stand, he's like, where am I sitting? And he takes off his hat. He's like, where am I sitting? And they're like, there's two balconies. I believe you're at the lower balcony. So he runs up to the balcony, and he looks, and he sees himself with Maria Shriver. And Danny yells out, Jack, watch out. It's the Ripper. And he sees the Ripper up above, about to like hurl his axe down. In which case, he pulls out his Desert Eagle, fires a shot, and then he is tackled by Arnold.
Why did Arnold run over there to tackle him?
He's a hero.
I guess so.
Arnold's a hero.
I guess so.
So we finally get what we have been waiting for years.
All our lives, since I was a little boy.
We see Arnold acting against Arnold.
Trying to look, hopefully, in the direction of the other Arnold and failing.
Of where he's going to be projected later on a blue
I always
screen.
hate that in movies, dude.
Yeah, they never quite look right. So you see him saying, you're the best stunt double I've ever seen. You should let me know when you come out to L.A. Just ridiculous shit. And like, basically Jack spins around. He's like, look, I don't really like you. You've brought me nothing but pain.
Yeah. And Ripper has jumped off. He's like done his axe down the curtain.
The curtain, and he slid down. He's making his escape.
Yeah, he's making his escape. I've got notes back if you...
Sure, jump in.
I'm at a loss at where my notes are.
Well, that's fine. Jack runs out front. And as soon as he runs out front, of course, it's a media frenzy because it's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah,
essentially,
and he's dressed as his character.
And he's dressed as his character. So everybody's taking pictures and screaming. And he grabs a reporter and he's like, did you see a guy with an axe? An axe come out of here, a weird-looking guy. And they're like, no. And then he looks up and he realizes what's going on.
What's going on?
Danny's missing. The Ripper's missing.
Uh-oh.
It's the end of Slayer 3 all over again.
Uh-oh.
He realizes they're up on top of the building. So he goes back inside, heads to the roof. Kicks door open, the roof. Whole door comes off hinges and falls on the ground. Again.
Not normal.
Oh, by the way, earlier in the movie, Arnold grabbed the taxi door and ripped the whole door off.
Yeah, it's hard to do. I've done that a couple times.
He also said a catchphrase there that you liked.
Which one?
Well, because normally he would say, I'll be back.
I'll be back.
Or, something else. But what was the catchphrase he says? Come on, you know it. Because he looks at Danny, he's like, you didn't know I was going to say that. What'd he say?
Oh. Rubber baby buggy bumpers or something. I don't know.
That's exactly what he says.
It's ridiculous.
The movie's madness. So anyways, Jack's now up on the roof with the Ripper.
And the Ripper just tosses Danny off the side of the building.
Yeah, he's like, I'm tired of all this bullshit. Let's just skip to the end. And yeah, he takes Danny and just chucks him over the side of the building.
And now he throws his axe at Jack, right?
Yes.
He doesn't hit anything with this axe. He needs to stop throwing this fucking axe. That's what I would say. You're throwing away your weapon, dude, and you're not hitting with it. That's a net loss for you, is what I'm saying. Jack grabs the axe. It's raining, pouring down rain.
Yeah.
And he acts like he's going to throw it at the Ripper, but instead he hits a transformer and electrocutes the Ripper through the water.
And as the Ripper is getting electrocuted, he goes, I'll be back.
See, that's his saying. I got it. Danny is hanging on by something across the alley. He was thrown so far, he's on the other side of the alley. He's not on the side of where the wall, where the building is. Well,
he's hanging on by strings.
Yeah, he lets go at what moment the thing he's hanging on, and so he's hovering in midair. It's a very poor.
He's clearly suspended.
Probably should have done another shot. Should have done another shot of that. Wires hanging this guy up. Benedict shows up. Oh shit! Because he throws Jack. Jack throws Danny back up on top of the building again.
Yeah, Jack goes down and gets him, and then tosses Danny, defying gravity.
Gravity with
about 10 feet up into the air.
It looks very poor.
And he lands on top of the building.
Benedict shows up with gunshots. He's shooting as he gives a huge monologue that's way over the top.
Yeah.
And he's talking about how he can get bad guys from other movies.
Yep.
Serious flaw in his logic here.
Okay.
Because the way that they've expressed this is, and he's even shown he doesn't have the abilities that he had.
Right. He's not a crack shot anymore with his gun.
No. If you go, he's like, I can go get Freddy Krueger. I'm like, okay, so he's just a burned up dude with
knives
that when he uses them will play, if they're coming out of it, it matters which Freddy it is.
Yeah.
Or is it the Freddy where they
Let's
come
just
out
say
of
they're the glove.
Okay,
That's to do with the glove.
He can do some light cutting with that, some light slicing. He doesn't have any of his powers. He's like, I can go get Dracula. I'm like, okay, you're going to bring Dracula over, and I guess, I don't know how the laws of these rules work, but he'll either A, just die instantly, or he'll just be like a zombie. Like, he won't be able to turn into a bat. Or
the only person he said that would have been good was Hannibal Lecter.
Okay.
Well, because at least he can show up and still eat people.
I can eat people too.
I'm just saying. At least that's somebody he could have brought over that could still do what he could do in the movie.
Yeah, I've got food smashers. I can eat people. But he acted like he could take these great Hitler. I'm like, okay, pal, you bring Hitler, you're going to draw some attention by I don't know, everyone in the world. Hey, there's Hitler over here. Anybody want to kill him? Dibs. I've got dibs on killing Hitler. That doesn't make any sense. Everybody knows that he's the number one bad guy of all time. So his huge monologue, talking about getting guys from other movies, and all of a sudden he shoots his gun because he's been shooting at him at Jack, and he's hiding. He's got his back behind stuff, and all of a sudden, he's out of bullets.
Click.
Jack hops up. He's like, is this the real world? You've run out of bullets.
Yeah, you made a movie bad guy mistake.
It's the Super Smash Hit movie.
You forgot to load the gun, stupid.
The devil's clone. Well, that's a different thing. And he's like, no, I just left the chamber empty. He shoots Jack straight in the chest.
Yep.
Uh-oh. The kid, Danny, acts like he's crying. Acts like he's crying.
This is the scene where you didn't know.
You don't know. I didn't know. I thought that this was just his normal acting that he's been doing because it's very much like what he's been doing. Well, he knocks Benedict over as he's walking by, and he throws a gun to Jack, who then shoots Benedict in the eye, and Benedict explodes. I guess all his eyes are explosive? They're bombs?
He did say something about some sort of explosion or something while he was up there.
Who keeps fucking bombs in their head?
What's the one-liner when he kills him?
No sequel for you.
There you go.
Yeah, no sequel for you. Shoots Benedict in the eye.
No sequel for any of them.
Yeah. And there's an explosion. This guy has a bomb that he chooses to put into his face, Jonathan.
You're not going to lose it there.
And not only this bomb was created in the fictional world. Right?
Yeah.
The movie world. He comes over here, the mechanics that made that like the ingenuity, the know-how that bomb works, still works in this world? Doubtful. That bomb is the size of an eye? What's he got in that thing? Who does that?
Well, but if you want to think of it like that, then technically Arnold's gun and Benedict's gun were really movie props.
It's true.
In a movie, and then they come through, and then they're still working.
This movie doesn't work.
Don't think about it.
So the ticket drifts down and touches a poster.
Yeah.
This ticket is fucking chaotic as shit. Okay?
It's chaos.
It just does whatever the fuck it wants. And nothing positive. Okay? This Nick gave this guy a straight death sentence is what he handed over to Danny. And not only that, there's a murder of all people, pretty much. As the poster lands on... the ticket lands on a poster, and death comes out of the movie that these people are watching. And death is played by Sir Ian McKellen. That's a blight on his resume, if you ask me. His resume. No? So now Death, with his scythe and his black robes, is walking through the streets of New York City. Everybody freaks out. Which I love that people freak out, and then there's nothing that happens from it. Like, wasn't there cops outside that he touches and they die?
Yeah, there's a cop lighting up a cigarette, and as he walks by, he just touches the guy, and then he gets about 20 feet down, and then you see the cop in the background choking, like kind of coughing, and then he falls over and starts to die.
Death doesn't have his powers.
Apparently he does. Somehow.
And then, like I said, all these people ran out of the theater. Did they just run out of the theater, and then they just went to... It was like a video game, where they just reset into a normal passive mode. I'm certain they went, hey, guy... A dude just came out of the fucking theater, like out of the screen.
Yeah, but who's going to believe that if you said that to him?
So you just don't say anything to anybody?
Well, I'm just saying.
I thought there'd be cops coming in there with guns, shooting Death, and Death is a normal dude. He dies.
But dude, if you were a cop and some lunatic came running out, you'd be like, all right,
I'd be like,
drunkie.
I'd be like, I had to see this.
You'd be like, all right, drunkie, let's get a breathalyzer on you.
But there's a whole theater full of people. There's no police presence in real New York City in this film at all. They don't do their job at all.
Real, with quotes, New York City.
So,
we cut to an ambulance.
Yeah, I guess the paramedics went all the way up to the top of the building. They knew that he was shot up there.
Yeah. Danny yelled for help.
Or Danny brought him down over his shoulders, brought him down.
Probably so.
And so they're in an ambulance, and he's trying to get them to
take... You're damn right they got up there. It's fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That's true.
Except it's Jack.
That's true. They're trying to get him back to the movie world. And he's like, we got to get him back. We got to get him back.
Yeah, he's sitting there... And he's, you see him like coughing blood into his oxygen mask. You see one paramedic kind of look at the other paramedic, shaking his head no, like he's going to die. Yeah. Danny's sitting there in shock, and he realizes,
if I can get him back,
if I can get him back to the movies, he'll live.
This will be
there's a flesh wound.
Yeah.
If I can get him back in the movie, so he's like, we got to take him to the movie theater, and they're all looking at him like he's insane.
Of course, understand.
And then he pulls out a gun, take him to the movie theater. Of course, they slam on brakes, they all bail, and now Danny's got to drive the ambulance to the movie theater.
So they make it to the movie theater, and...
He crashes right through the front doors.
Yep. And they're trying to get there, and Death comes for Jack.
Yep.
He's walking down the things for Jack. Danny pulls a gun and tries to act a little bit.
To intimidate Jack. To intimidate Death.
And I've got written here, Death shouldn't have any powers.
He's like, I'm tired of you deciding who stays and who goes.
God almighty.
Well, I say this one stays.
Such shit. Oh, such attitude too, man. So Death tells Danny that he pretty much...
He was only curious.
He was only curious because he's not on his list.
Yeah.
But he's dying.
Yeah. He's like this. Basically, I think what he's saying is he doesn't understand why he doesn't know when this guy's time is going to be up. Because he's a fictional character.
Right.
He's not a real person. So that's why Death was curious and came to see.
Like, Death, you're a fucking fictional person. What are you talking about?
And then Danny says to Death, is it my time?
Yeah.
He's like, no, you grow to be a grandfather.
And then he walks away.
Yeah, and then he just leaves.
Well, he's like, well, wait, or he says something to him.
Yeah, Danny walks up. He's like, you gotta help him.
Yeah.
He's like, I know you can help him. He's like, that's not what I do. And he's like, he goes, and he says,
go find the other side of the ticket.
Yeah, he basically tells Danny, you're not very bright. If I were you, I'd be looking for the other half of that ticket.
How does he know about this fucking ticket? Death's powers are very strange in this film, dude. I prefer them like in Scrooged.
He's all-knowing.
Where he doesn't talk very much.
Yeah, you want somebody that doesn't talk. A strong silent type.
Yep, or the one that was in The Meaning of Life. It was the fish moose. So yeah, he finds the trash. He finds the ticket amongst other tickets in the trash can. The ticket is activated, and the movie reel and the whole place comes alive all by itself.
It looks like a disco.
Yeah, it looks like a disco. Everything's just doing its own thing. Don't know why that's really happening. They make it back.
It's a magic ticket.
Yep. And they shows him stumbling into the police department. I don't know how they really got there, but I don't know because I don't know where you teleport to. I guess it was that part of the movie.
Yeah, I guess where the reel started up.
Yeah.
And so yeah, you see the police chief yell, "Where's Slater?" Somebody tell him to get in my office. And then all of a sudden, Danny is in a hallway of the police department where nobody sees them up here.
Stumble in.
He's just there.
Right.
And Danny screams out, I need help. And then who's there first?
Cartoon cat.
Whiskers.
I won't name him Whiskers because he doesn't deserve a name. He's a cartoon cat. This is fucking ridiculous.
He's played by Danny DeVito. You show him respect.
I guess so.
They were twins.
Blah, blah. I need you to believe in me is what I've written down. As the kid's like,
I didn't write it anymore. All I wrote, gets him into movie, it's a flesh wound.
Yeah, it's because the doctor's like, "What is this, a joke?"
He's like, "I wouldn't even call this a scratch."
Yep, and but he's like, "No, I need you to believe in me, Danny." Danny goes back.
Yeah.
He's like, "All right, I'm gonna go back." Nobody sees the purple wall.
Yeah.
Portal.
There's like 40 people around him, but nobody sees him just kind of step back through a wall and leave.
Purple wall.
And then it cuts
Jack's
to
fine.
Yeah, it cuts to his boss yelling at him, and he's like, "Shut up!" He's like, "You know why you're yelling at me? Because you're the comic relief."
Yeah,
he goes, "And I'm the hero."
So he turns into.
He's self-aware.
Well, he's what's that dude's name? The Ryan. I can't even think. It's so late. Superhero movie that's coming out with Ryan. What's his name?
Reynolds.
Deadpool. He's Deadpool. He's broken down that wall.
Okay.
He knows who he is, right? Isn't that what Deadpool does?
I don't know. I don't read Deadpool.
Oh, well, that's a slight probably.
But that was a stretch to get us there.
Well, it's Deadpool. I mean, Deadpool knows he breaks down the was it the third wall, fourth wall, whatever it's called.
Fourth wall is when you just talk to the people that are reading.
That's what he does. He knows where he's in. He knows what he does. And so And
then as they're leaving, Nick is telling Danny's story. Did I ever tell you the story of when I was your age and my dad took me to see Buffalo Bill? Which that really is way out.
Holy shit.
Yeah, he's saying that as they walk off. And then credits roll.
But then before that, it shows Jack. He waves to us as he's driving off.
Yeah, he even winks at the screen at one point.
Yeah, he winks at the screen, and he waves off in his thing.
In his convertible, as he's driving off into the sunset, he throws his arm up, waves.
Credits, and then, was it AC/DC or was it something else?
I don't know. I don't know. The movie was ejected, though, by itself.
And that's the end. Yeah, it stopped.
It was like back to PlayStation home screen.
And that's the end of the film.
That was the end of the film.
What is your views of the film?
I enjoy Last Action Hero. I find it to be a very good comedy. I do think it's a funny movie. I think it's so over the top. I mean, it does have some decent action parts in it, but the action parts are also sprinkled with lunacy.
Yeah.
Because, there's just, like I said, there's no gravity in the film. You'll see cars driving 60 feet up into the air and then exploding. And like I said, you'll see people crash into, a person crashes into an ice cream truck and causes it to explode. Mm-hmm. I mean, the movie's just completely absurd. But I find it funny. I actually enjoy the film. That's why I have seen it so many times. Yourself. So what are your reviews?
Well, I'm reading the back of it right now. It says, action adventure superstar Arnold Schwarzenegger bursts through the screen as a bigger-than-life movie hero in this nonstop adventure from acclaimed director John McTiernan. Don't see anything on there about it being a comedy. And I think that's the ruse. That's the ruse, man. Yeah, it's funny. I mean, there is some funny moments of it. It's just... I don't know.
I wish it was still on Netflix just so we could see what section they file it under.
Yeah, it's true.
Is it under action movie or is it under comedy?
I mean, it's called Last Action Hero for fucking crying out loud. Talk about the good old hoodwink they did on people. It's incredible.
I'm going to look on Vudu real quick, see what they have it under.
Okay. I understand what the movie's trying to be. I don't like what it's trying to be. That's all there is to it. Because it's a constant assail on the senses, on normality, on reality.
Last Action Hero on Vudu is filed under action/comedy/sci-fi fantasy.
I understand.
That's what it is.
You got a kid that's got a fucking magic ticket that can rake pure hell upon anything it touches.
What that tells me is that nobody knows what this movie is.
Well, I mean, think about it, dude.
Nobody knows
this ticket touched a poster, and fucking death came out. What if it touched a poster of Godzilla? I mean, holy shit.
That's what Benedict said. I could get King Kong. He's like, I could get King Kong. And that's another good one. Because, he doesn't need powers. He's a big fucking monkey.
It's true. He's an ape.
He would just destroy things.
He would go ape on everything. It's a movie that I don't really enjoy. I do enjoy scenes from it. I like I said, since the rules are so... They're not strong with the way their rules work, the whole premise of the movie kind of falls apart, I think, on itself. Because if you take the plot and you take the stuff that's going with it... I mean, granted, the death thing doesn't need to be in the movie at all. Mm-hmm. Okay? So even though that completely breaks their rules, I don't really need to work with that. The logic of Benedict is not sound, but he can still make some good defense of what his plan is. Okay? But other than that, if I take those scenes out, those scenes actually I think hurt the movie. I see what it's trying to do, but I just think that you go into the movie with a certain thing, and you don't, certain, view of what the movie's going to kind of be like, and you're just not expecting this type of over-the-top satire that is very assaulting to what you know of regular physics and reality. And that's my problem. Is the whole time my brain's yelling out, "That's fucking crazy bullshit! You're just seeing insanity. You've seen something that does not work." But you're in it's tough to say, okay, this isn't a world that I know. And then the boy is just so bad for me. I can't grab onto the boy at all. Like I know no connection with him whatsoever. And I don't know. That's it for me. I don't. I mean, it's not a terrible movie. I wouldn't put it up in the worst movies by a long shot. I mean, it's not any of the other ones. Which I went back and listened to our TMNT 3, and we really ragged the shit out of that movie. It's probably in our top 5 if we were to do a top 5 list. But it does. It is to me. I don't think it's a great film that I would want to watch a bunch of. There are scenes that are good. This is a YouTube video. This is a YouTube movie where you go and watch some certain scenes, that I did find enjoyable. I'm Out of Here is fucking hilarious. I mean, that's funny. That's funny stuff. But was that what the audience is back in '93? And anybody that you just show right now, if you give it the same type of, push, would they receive it like that? And I don't think a lot of the people did in the theater, and that's why it stunk.
I hear what you're saying. So what we need is a reboot of Last Action Hero.
Go for it.
We need a current day version.
Yeah. Cut death out of there. That's not smart at all. Cut, some of the weird wonkiness at the end. I guess. I mean, yeah, I guess you could reboot it if you wanted. I mean, but they don't make movies like that anymore, really, if you think about it. Oh, well, they do. Fast and Furious, I guess, is kind of like that. It's got some zaniness, I guess. Stuff that doesn't make sense.
I've only ever seen the first one.
So, yeah, I mean, it's not a horrible movie. It's just not a movie that I'm like, Last Action Hero, we gotta watch this. What's wrong?
Well, I wrote down on this piece of paper, Brandon.
Uh-oh.
2 things on the back here.
Ooh.
Now, your fate is in your hands, Brandon.
I love it.
Now, next week, we were going to watch a certain movie.
Yes, I know what that movie is.
There is another movie that's on sale on Vudu right now for $8 for Father's Day. The sale ends tomorrow. So I'm seriously considering purchasing this movie for us. Okay? Now, you can pick option 1 or option 2. I have them written down here. Whatever you pick is what we're watching next week.
Okay, I'll take option 1.
Oh! Okay.
Jesus.
All right. Are you ready? I'm going to let you read what this is to our viewers.
All right.
Option 1.
The Avengers. Which one is that?
It's the one with Ralph Fiennes and Uma Thurman.
Never seen it.
And Sean Connery. It's on sale right now for $8.
You're going to buy that for $8? I'm not buying it.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to purchase it. And next week, we'll be watching The Avengers from, I believe it's the year 1998.
It's supposed to be one of the worst movies ever made.
It's real bad. I've seen it. I saw it in the theater.
Okay, I'm down with that.
That's a tale for another podcast.
But then I get the next choice after Avengers, and then we could do Hudson Hawk.
Okay.
All right.
That's fine. But there you go. So you've now sealed your fate with The Avengers.
I've never seen it, so it's...
Because, next week was going to be Hudson Hawk, the Bruce Willis epic vehicle.
Which is one of the first movies I ever remember stopping when we rented it and watched it.
Okay. I loved it. The first time I ever saw it, I loved it. And it's also, funny enough, it's one of the only things I've ever heard Bruce Willis apologize for. Like, I saw him win an award one time, and he straight up stood there and he apologized. He said, "I'd like to apologize to anyone who starred in or worked on Hudson Hawk."
Or it should have been who paid to see. He should have added those people in there, too.
He might have, and maybe I don't remember clearly. But yeah, he apologized for ever making that film.
So, Ralph Fiennes?
Or Rafe. I don't know what you want to call
we'll call it Rafe. Rafe Fiennes and Uma Thurman.
And Sean Connery.
Okay. The Avengers. I've never seen it. I have no clue what it's about, actually.
Well, we'll watch the preview before you leave tonight, real quick. I'll fire it up just so you can see it.
It's already quite late, but I'll indulge that. And then I'll think of a movie after The Avengers for us to watch.
Okay.
And I'm going to pick something better this time than The Last Action Hero.
Okay.
I don't know exactly what it's going to be. But this, I think that last section here will be forgotten in the annals of time.
Sure.
Yeah, it is going to be. It's going to be gone. But
it was made so much more rough by the fact that we had to watch it in full screen. Like in
yeah, don't do that, people.
It wasn't widescreen. We watched this in full screen, so it was a painful night.
It was painful, and it looked like dookie. The screen was bad.
I mean, there was a bad transfer. There were several times it looked like a VHS movie.
Oh, it's terrible. All right, so I hate the kid in the movie, and it's a fun night. I still enjoyed some stuff in it, so that's one thing that's nice from the movies we've been watching. Literally funny fucking shit, So I do give it that. But yeah, this has been interesting. Anything else you got?
You can find me Abe Randall on Twitter,
and I'm Savage GM,
and of course Go Ape Podcast on Twitter. So on iTunes, rate, review, subscribe.
Yeah. If any of the new people, we're up to 80 some likes on Facebook. Yeah. We got a lot more people giving us likes, so we enjoyed that on Facebook. And if you ever want to ask us a question or let us know what you think about the podcast, Twitter or Facebook, or please give us a review on iTunes. It makes me feel good, to know that there's actually people that would spend the time to do something like that. So, this has been interesting night. And how long? This has got to be long.
Oh yeah, this is the longest podcast we've ever done. We're coming up on 2 hours.
You're kidding me.
We're at 1 hour and 15 minutes right now.
Go Ape.
Go Ape.
I'm out of here.
Go Ape.